And we're off and running. Off and running. Hastings, live from his bedroom. Me, downstairs, trying to figure it all out. We got the Avs playing well. We've got everything going their way. That was one of the wildest offsides I had ever seen. And they finally got it right. It's a long rebound that went into the zone. And so what we thought was a goal taken away ends up being a goal. I got to ask you, dude.
And it gets Renton off the schneid. I was thinking, when you're in a slump and you haven't scored in a while and you finally score, and then something as wild as that takes away a score, I think Renton hadn't scored in like 13 periods or 13 games or something. But so right here, folks, the Altitude Plus app works.
That's good.
Right.
When you haven't scored in a while, you'll take a fat one. Just a big fat one's fine.
It's kind of like a Mark Grace.
Yeah.
Hey, when you haven't scored in a while, Mark Grace is a friend of yours.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Just bust that slump is all you need to do. Hey, it doesn't have to be a highlight for everyone to see. Maybe you just know about it. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's in the record book. It may not be one you brag about, but hey.
You ain't calling your friends after you're done, but guess what? The goal's in and the slump's over. Some know, some don't.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yeah. So anyway.
Do you think anybody is running to the Google machine and looking up Mark Grace? Slump Buster?
Yeah, but they're not going to know because Grace told it.
Grace Slump Buster.
That's a Susie moment because he told it to Susie. And you guys, remember?
Yeah, he was on the show.
It was a zoo, yeah.
You could get big-time stars on your radio shows all the time.
Yeah, because you could send a guy down to the clubhouse and they didn't care. They had time. Not everybody had five people you had to go through to figure out what was what. I got it. Would you be in favor of this? And I haven't seen any responses to my tweets, so maybe nobody cares about me anymore, which, hey, whatever. I get it. I think there should be a sky judge in hockey that should be watching for offsides. Now, it ends up that wasn't an offsides play, but it still brings up something that irritates me. If that had been a pass into the zone and not a shot that went off the backboard, for those who don't realize, the shot went off the back glass. It was a wicket rocket from in close, and we have this in lacrosse. They talk about this in the indoor game. They don't want you to shoot hard and send it over that middle line because you lose possession. In this case, Lecky knew that was a rebound all the way down the ice, still a rebound. So because it was a shot, Seattle sent it into their own zone, so Lecky doesn't have to touch up. I just feel like there should be a sky judge monitoring for offsides and not something that's challengeable. Just boom. Somebody watch it, review it, make sure things are good. It would take some manpower. It'd probably be a boring job, but I think it's crap that you can go through a whole possession like that, get a goal, then they can challenge, and you can take what's a momentous play for you and get it shoved the other way, all because 2 minutes earlier you didn't realize there was possibly an offside. Dude, get that thing killed.
It's funny. The NBA put a new rule now. You go back and look for an out of bounds or whatever, but if they see a foul, you slap the guy's arm and then he touched it and went out of bounds, they'll call a foul, forget the out of bounds. That being said, they do put limitations on how far back you can go.
Right.
Like, I mean, if I blast the passer and then it hits so-and-so's hands and, if I found the guy whose hands it hit, okay, we can look at that. But me blasting the passer, we can't go back and look. That they had to rewind it a little bit to get back enough to see the offsides. What I'd be interested to find out, and I'm sure the NHL will say something about it, or maybe they won't, but because they called it offsides, because it went from 4-2 back down to 3-2, and then also those guys skate over and put headsets in back to Toronto or wherever, and somebody says, wait a minute, that was a shot and not a pass out, the offsides is waived.
Because they were only, I know what happened. Seattle challenged the offside, said Lehkonen came in offside. So all they did was review. Josh Manson was the one. He was telling Riker in between Mark Rycroft in between the benches.
Right.
Like Rycroft's like, I don't understand why that's not offsides. And Josh said, because none of us touched it. They shot it. So all they did was go back and review the actual was a skate along the line. They didn't look at how it was entering the zone, which is fine. Look, they got it right. I just am saying that I just feel like, because here's my other problem. This isn't just a homer, I lost a goal or anything like that, Scotty. You know, as a former player, and this is a contact sport. The Avs went through a whole bunch of power play time, and had someone gotten hurt for what is basically non-existent time because you didn't stop the game soon enough, that's a problem, man. Like, you're going to have something happen one time where a guy gets hurt as you're waiting to challenge the offsides. What if somebody gets, like, it clips off someone's face and goes in the goal, only for you to go, well, that wasn't a real play?
Well, here's what I have, and I have issues with the NBA the same way. Now, I know, maybe there are instances, but how when you've got three referees on the ice, one of them doesn't say, wait, no. That was a shot that kicked out. That basically you have to get a headset. And Toronto goes, oh no, that was a shot and not a pass. But how does three guys on the ice miss the fact? Bum, score. Okay, the guy was called, offsides. Why didn't he go over and go, listen, that was your own team that shot it. They didn't touch it. It's not going to be an offsides, and you're going to get a penalty. Do you still want the challenge?
Right.
Because I saw that happen in Brooklyn. Somebody shoved somebody, and we used to do this in the NBA all the time. Ball would go out on you, but I fouled the snot out of you. They just give you the ball. They were going to call a stupid foul, whatever. Play on. You get the ball. Nothing, no harm, no foul, no harm, right? And I can appreciate that. So Malone's going to challenge it out of bounds because the out of bounds was not on us. And I saw Bill Kennedy, and why I like him as one of the officials I actually like. He comes over and goes, you can challenge, but you're going to lose it because the guy was fouled before it went out of bounds. So if you want to challenge it, we'll go there, but it's going to be a foul.
Well,
and Malone went, okay.
Thank you. Right. Yeah. Look, dude, it just is, one of the reasons why nobody knew it was a shot, Scotty, was the challenge came so much. That was like 2 minutes of game action before they actually got a chance to challenge. The Avs were damn near through their power play.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So how far back can you go? That's the question.
Well, and for me, that's what I think. You get 15 seconds once a possession starts to decide if you want to challenge offsides. All those guys have got video coaches. There's a lot of ways that you could do it, but and I realize the NHL doesn't have the kind of money that the NFL does, and they oftentimes have more games going at once and all that. But someone, you can't just get that over-ice view that just lets people know. I just feel like it becomes, to have a goal taken away can just be such a morale shot. And it almost becomes unfair what it can do to the other team. So even if you win it, but whatever, I digress. Avs getting it going. Hey,
how about this 25th game that McKinnon has had four points, right?
Right.
Sakic for third, Sakic second at 32. Do we not forget about, and I know there was the old Nordiques and all that stuff, but how freaking good was Peter Stastny? Peter Stastny has 52 4-point games.
Yeah, man, it's
52.
crazy. I never saw the guy play, though. That's where I think sometimes, like, I'm pretty sure he never lined up as an Avalanche player. But
no, he was a Nordique guy. But
yeah,
still,
I don't remember him.
But still, and I'm glad they keep the franchise records and stuff. But we're sitting there amazed. Like, oh, look at McKinnon. That's unbelievable. 25 4-point games. What's the leader? Oh, that's Peter Stastny has 52. I mean, think about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now, different eras and stuff. Equipment's different. Were the goalies wearing masks? I don't know, man. Good for Peter Stastny. I don't know I can't have a take. I didn't see any of it. I don't know what to tell you. So
listen, McKinnon in the first two periods have been like a surgeon with his pass, his
Right.
passes. I mean, this for this year for sure, but this is as good as I've ever seen McKinnon pass the puck. I mean, they've been right on. They've been unbelievable. And can you imagine the pressure on Murphy on that first one that the future Hall of Famer throws it to you? And that's usually Ratner that's right there on that wing, right? And he goes, "Okay, I can't miss this one."
No, that was his first goal of the year, though. So,
Well, I know, but it's kind of like Joker too. I mean, Joker throws Elway. You get open in the flat, you're a rookie receiver, and you're going to drop the ball. John Elway threw it to you, or you're going to cut to the basket. And here comes a bounce pass to you, and you're going to miss a dunk when Joker passes it to you. I mean, that's got to be a little out of pressure, doesn't it?
well, not if you're Rod Bernstein, then you say always pass sucks. Do you remember that when they were playing the Jets? I don't even know if you were here yet. Rod Bernstein was complaining that Elway didn't throw him a good enough ball.
No, I was.
Deanna's on here talking. Deanna probably remembers. She's a longtime Bronco fan.
I was here when Rod. In fact, you know what? I talked to Rod. He came to a Nuggets game 2 or 3 years ago.
Rod Bernstein?
Yeah, and I recognized him, but it's one of those where I couldn't mention the name. He goes, "Hey, Scotty," he goes, "Rod Bernstein." Because didn't he play a long time with San Diego also or something?
Yeah, like man, he was kind of a beast. But the guy, when the guy could play, he was a pretty good running back. He just was always hurt. He was always hurt.
Yeah, he had a few good games for Denver. I think I'm going to say he was here 94, 95, and that era, that somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was mid 90s for sure. It was, you know what he was? He was the Jim Fossil, Wade Phillips Broncos, 93, 94. And then halfway through Terrell's rookie year, they got rid of Rod because Shanahan just realized this guy's going to be the dude. So he just, we got to get you out of the way. And so they did. And Rod Bernstein did have, when he wasn't hurt, he was fumbling sometimes. He was one of those free agents Denver signed that just never really worked out. Former San Diego Charger, like you said.
He had a couple good games, but he was, as I remember, a bigger kind of an upright runner kind of guy.
Oh, he was. He gave you plenty of target to hit. I'll put it that way. Back when you could hit it, Yeah. So good for him. I got a whole bunch of.
Let me ask this question real fast, since we're talking running backs. In his prime, what would Terrell Davis be doing right now with this exact team that we're watching with the Broncos?
In his prime?
Yeah, he's in his prime. Would I mean, how much of a difference would he make with this team the way they operate?
Well, I think he'd still be good. He'd be Bo Nix's best friend. Look, the guy was such a good running back, and he knew what hole he wanted to run through, and he got there, and he wasn't messing around.
He didn't dance around. He didn't play around.
He would. What would be interesting about Terrell is you called his career basically, didn't you?
I called
his whole career pretty much.
Yeah.
Except I guess the rookie year. Terrell was putting his shoulders down and running through you at the end. And that's back where guys, it was a bit more of a thumper league. Now dudes are going to take your ankles out, taking your knees out. I mean,
yeah, but
I believe he could have been great in any generation. The dude was just unreal.
When they had that thing rolling and you could see it set up, everybody, the line's going this way, Terrell's falling, and then all of a sudden that outside foot gets planted, line keeps going, and here comes Terrell.
Hey, let me ask you this. I don't know if Terrell had Christian's hands, but wouldn't he be a little bit like Christian McCaffrey?
Ooh, that's a good question. He's a little taller.
Christian knows how to run in this offense the way Terrell knew how to. And look, like you put Terrell with the Niners. See, here's the problem with me answering that question, Scotty. That whole team, and again, I'm telling you stuff you already knew. That team was it was such a machine. Rod and Ed blocking. You got the powerful fullback and Howard Griffith, who was unafraid of anybody. And the line just worked. They perfectly created cutback lanes. Now, I do think, Sean, wants a power run game. I just don't know why he doesn't call the game like that. Like, again, my problem with this game in Baltimore this past week, why were you not leaning on your run game more, man? Your line can play physical, but you had them pass block so much. Well, now they're not playing so physical anymore. You had Bo throw 38 times or something like that. That's still too much. It's too much. Run the ball. Again, if they run the ball and only throw Bo 25 times or something, you could beat the Chiefs this week. You could. You're put together to go. Look, they've already done a good job holding the ball and sucking the clock down. There's no reason why they couldn't do stuff like that this week, but you've got to decide that you want to. And I don't feel like he does that.
Right. Well, I talked to Leggy. I think last week said something about it, and he said it's amazing. Or he may have said today. He said it's amazing that you give Russ a running game and let him pass off a play action. How good he can be. Do you realize the Steelers, since Russ has been there, are averaging 31 points a game,
right? Because
and have over 400 yards of offense.
Because they don't get angry when they haven't done anything in the first half. They keep running. And then here's the thing, okay? Then all of a sudden when Russ does pop a big one or two, well, then all of a sudden they got to take some guys out to worry about the pass, and then that opens up for your run game. It's complementary football, which I just wish the Broncos would play a little bit more of. Look, man, I heard you talk. I think we got kind of the same feelings from hearing a little bit of your show and our show. Catch us on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Scott, noon to 3. I'm 3 to 6. I was impressed with what I thought. I thought Bo handled the first half fine. Okay? That's a crazy environment. It's loud. It's probably the toughest environment he's played in, because they're good and the fans are in full throat. I'm not sure Seattle quite knew what they were getting that first game of the year. But I thought in the first half, Bo handled it fine. Fine. Everything was fine. The defense wasn't necessarily fine, especially at the end of the half.
It's fine, and one touchdown in the red zone in the first half. It's a game too.
It's a game. But then you give up the stupid 3-play drive. So then that adds a score. Then they come back out. They score again. You get one chance in the third quarter to try to stem the tide after they put back-to-back scores on you, and it's a 21-point game, and instead you go 3 and out, and they go get another one. And then the next thing you know, everyone's just trying to end the game. So, I think Bo got his happy feet in the second half and all that stuff. But again, you started throwing. Sean didn't want to run. And here's what we have to accept, I think. This offense is not 2 plays and a touchdown. It's just not what you are. So run the ball, keep the short passing. Don't,
Well, the one play when they got down deep in the red zone, they had a stat on there: 9-play drive, 3 pass, 6 rush. That's kind of where they got to live, I think.
Yeah, because it's you just got to keep a team off balance, and once this team gets down, you're not off balance anymore. So people have got to keep that going. I think they can give the Chiefs a game. I don't know if they're ready to win in KC. I heard your discussion about the trade deadline today with your guys. I think for the most part, there's not too much for you and I to discuss, because I just didn't expect him to do anything. You and I talked to Leggy probably more than anybody on our station, and he's been trying to tell anybody to listen, even though it's not the fun answer that people want. It's just the truth. They don't have the money to be doing this stuff right now.
And people, and I think even Tyler did that, or D-Mac, one or two today. Yes, the owners have money, but there's still a window with which you can spend X number. If it was a free-for-all, guess what? You could have had DeAndre Hopkins and every good pass rusher and maybe another running back. You could have had a whole lot of stuff. But as Leggy pointed out today, you're taking a dead head cap this year of $81.8 million, which, you know what? There's been some exciting football. There's been, some wins, and it's been a little better. And you're taking that big number hit this year. Okay, now let's see what happens. It cleans up a little bit next year. Depends how much the stuff they push down the line going forward.
Yeah, you can't fall into the cap hell that New Orleans is in, and the reality is Sean Payton had a lot to do with that. He kept, they all were on board for, let's maximize Drew Brees' window, and let's, for people that don't know what they're talking about, Drew Brees kept adding voidable years. So basically, the Saints are in cap hell because they're still paying for Drew Brees. They've already retired his number, and they're still paying for Drew Brees. That's how much they kept. They just kept adding voidable years to the contract, which voidable years are basically years you ain't going to play for us, but we're going to put money in there to move the cap stuff around. So now all of a sudden you got, Drew Brees is costing you money, and you
he's
can't
been
go get
retired
what
for
they
4
want.
years.
Right. So that's what they did. And they cannot, you got to be careful. You just can't do that here. It's not smart NFL business.
Right.
The Saints are 90 million over the cap next year. Over the cap, 90 million next year. So, and they're an old team. So that's why they're trying to trade everybody, so you got to be careful. Look, here's the other reality. And I don't know. I feel like I'm suffering for telling truth. So everybody hates me now. I'm not the good guy, fun guy anymore, but it is what it is. What we're finding out too is another reason why you're able to get 5 wins is you happen to pay. You've played most of your winnable games the first half of the schedule. That's just happened to be how it worked out. Okay. You were lucky because you got 3 of your NFC South teams at once. You should have won the Seattle game. They're just all right. They're fine. They're
And you
not
know what?
special.
You probably could have, about should have, but you could have won Pittsburgh because they weren't playing that great.
Yeah, quite honestly, I think you should have. You had that game at home.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was put a couple drives together offensively. You win that one. So, but you didn't. But I'm just saying, just because I think what happened in this town was you got the Saints and the Panthers back to back. And I think everybody forgot about the Chargers game where things were rough, right? If these games are spread out more, maybe you're not 5-3 and getting everybody's expectations up. I don't know. Look, the reality is I still think they got a great chance to make the playoffs, okay? The Cleveland game, it's going to be interesting, but, you're in it right now. That's all you can ask for. At least this team's going to taste some of the playoff push.
Over half of the season's gone, and you're in it. You're still in the conversation, which I'm not sure a lot of people believe that. Be a tough week. Listen. The one thing Denver's done in these past 8 years of crap, they haven't won but one time, but they've played Kansas City as well as anybody in the league. So I don't know why that should change. I think that, I heard you guys say this, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think you said it. I really think that the defense almost respected Jacksonville, or excuse me, Baltimore and Jackson more than they needed to. And I thought they were doing stuff that wasn't normally them. I thought they played more zone than they usually played, and Jackson picked that zone apart. And I thought they held back on their rushing, and that's what they've been known for all year. Or they're blitzing, and I think they've been known for that all year. I think they respected Jackson and Baltimore's offense too much, and I thought they got away with what they do best.
When you have an identity, you've got to play to your identity. Their identity has been blitzing. Their identity has been confusing the other quarterback. Their identity has been playing man coverage, and they didn't do that. So, you lost.
Wonder if Vance Joseph, if the last Vance set this week.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because it was interesting in our interview with Leggy on Monday. He said he saw them practicing to play the way that they play, and then for some reason they didn't. So, reading the tea leaves, I felt like Jeff was wondering who actually decided they shouldn't play the way they play. So, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Anyway, hey, let's talk about real quick. We got to get into this note. I don't love getting into this note, and I hope it's just, something that ends up being wrong. Adrian Dater dropped a note that said Gabe Landeskog, according to 2 sources that he has suffered a major setback to the point where a comeback at all is in question. He dropped that it was about 5:30. I think we saw it at 5:45 on our show. It was 5 o'clock hour. And now Adrian Dater said he has 2 sources before he put the tweet out. So,
well, hockey doesn't do a pregame interview. Let's hope it goes good and they win, and somebody addresses that.
yeah, it'll be interesting. Well, Jared Bednar said yesterday there's no timeline for his return. So, and I think everybody was kind of, maybe we were just hoping, Scotty, I don't know what right term to put on it, but weren't you kind of under the impression they thought they'd be shooting for this first part of the year?
Yeah, I was thinking, December if you were lucky, probably January, February.
So, I don't know, man. It's rough, dude. I hope Gabe can get back. I start to worry more and more. Well, you and I have always wondered, is this really going to, he's just, if this is a surgery that you try just to live life, and maybe he'll prove that you can still play hockey on the knee. I hope that's what he proves. I just, man, it's a rough.
Look it up real fast. Lonzo Ball. Chicago's played 9 games, 9 games, like everybody else, I'm assuming. And he's only played in 3, which is still, after missing 2 years, I guess you're kind of happy. And he had some, I guess he hurt a wrist, they said, but I noticed he's missed a few games.
By the way, I am curious. I think Jesse Montano of Guerrilla Sports had tweeted out right before the intermission that McCarr had left the bench early, and now I'm trying to see if we see McCarr out there. I don't think his line's out there yet, so I'm going to try to look. I'm trying to see if there's any update. I'm going to go to Jesse's timeline and see if he has anything new. Let's see here. So 11 minutes ago, McCarr skated during the TV timeout but left the bench. This is unreal, man. So I'm going to try to keep an eye out on McCarr. Dude, if McCarr's down too, this is unreal.
Well, I mean, what's going on with Colorado weather? You got with the Nuggets side, you're going to play the best team in the Western Conference tomorrow night, probably without Murray, who's got the concussion protocol, and now Gordon, which I think it was a pretty severe injury. He's going to be out. They said weeks.
Help me out. Educate us again. And maybe this is an unfair question to you, but right now Manson and Girard are out there, so we should be seeing Taze and whoever coming up soon. And they just got Lecky back tonight, who immediately paid dividends and scored a goal, scrapping in front of the net because that's Lecky. Calf strain, I think to some of us, calf strain. How's that going to keep you out weeks? What are we talking about? Obviously, it's a sport where you jump, so that's not great either. What about a calf strain would keep a guy out weeks? What does that really mean?
2 things you got to remember over the last 5 seasons. You've lost Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant to torn Achilles that both started with calf strains. So the NBA is freaky on guys having calf strains. So that's one. I saw him in the Minnesota game. I was in the locker room, and he had the biggest ice wrap I've ever seen for a calf. And it went up to the knee, and I'm like, oh, he may not play against Utah. And then he came out and played pretty well. And then when he went out yesterday's game, after 4.5 minutes or so, I thought, well, they're going to rest him early, bring him in for the last part of the first quarter, and then all of a sudden we get a notice is being evaluated. So when they're saying weeks, yeah. And listen, I tore, strained my gastroc muscle in my left calf, and my left calf has bothered me 25 years later. But back then, you know what you did? You iced it and took aspirin. Put a little electric stem on it once in a while, and I think I played. But I was also a scrubby dub, and it was the postseason when I did it. And I played, and it was killing me.
Well,
but I wanted to play.
I'm glad you brought up that. I mean, I'm not glad because I don't want My God, number 17 for the Avs is taking 2 shots, and he's just struggling to stay out there. One of them hit him, and then another one just got to him. He's got a hurt hand and a hurt leg, and I can't tell. He's just trying to survive out there, and I think he's just begging for some way to get off the ice. My God. And by the way, Makar's not out there. Malinsky was out there with them with Taves in the pairing, not Makar. So the Avs may be down another superstar right as they get Arturi Lehkonen back. It's just unbelievable what is going on here. And I'm telling you what, if you got Makar, there's an empty net right now at 3 minutes left to go. Avs up 4-2. If Makar's not available, and you're not going to be able to keep 3 goalies around, you're going to have to make a goalie decision here pretty soon. I think Kakinen, if Kakinen can go to the minors, you may have to send him down for a minute.
Onninen's been okay. He gave up that first goal right at the end of a power play, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one was a power play, wasn't it?
It was, but I would also say, there was a really bad turnover that led to it.
Oh, it's horrible turnover.
And
then it went 5-0.
And the freaking bar down, and we got a 1-goal game. They could not clear the zone. Parker Kelly's been out there, and he's all sorts of hurt. He's holding his wrist. He barely can skate. He's tired. And Beniers
70
ends up putting it in. 70's Malinsky. So they couldn't get the zone cleared with that extra attacker.
Yeah, Malinsky had a chance to clear the puck and didn't.
Well, and I don't know. Whatever. Now they're gonna have to switch. They better get this one, because what I've been trying to say is, if Makar's got to go down, or if Makar can't be available because of an injury, then you're not going to be able to afford to keep 3 goalies up here anymore if you're going to have a full roster. This is the problem. Not only are they hurt, all their top guys are hurt. Seattle hadn't scored a goal in 2 games, and now they got 3. Part of me feels like I don't know what to do. Juice looks good when he gets in there, but Seattle's not exactly a great team, and I'm not putting this all on Juice, Justus Annunen. But part of me feels like you just got to you got to let Georgie have a few more, and if you don't like what you see, then you got to go another direction. I don't know.
But you know what? That goal they just give up. And everybody's trying to make a play late.
Boom.
You have
Empty netter.
2 guys go after the puck to clear it. Neither one does. So guess what? Guess what it is now behind those 2 guys who are on the ice. Now it's 4-on-2.
Well, Rantanen just put in an empty netter, so we're back to 5-3.
Oh, there we go.
But there's 2 minutes left, so. No, you're right. And look, it's amazing. I was watching the huddle up, Scotty. They're literally the Colorado Eagles. It's Parker Kelly and Sam Malinsky and Kovalenko, and they just did a huddle I think Taves was the only actual Avs NHL player out there. Everybody else, I'm pretty sure, is basically a Colorado Eagle that the Avs are using because of the ridiculous injury situation. So, I don't know. Hopefully they finish this one off. God, the injuries luck in Colorado sucks. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the again, just for the reminder, when people hear calf strain, that could be the part of the start of the Achilles problem, and that's the last thing you need for Aaron Gordon.
No. And that's, like I said, Kevin Durant tore his Achilles a few years ago, started with a calf strain. And Klay Thompson, 4 or 5 years ago, started with a calf strain. Next thing you know, he came out and tore his ACL. Well, he may have torn his ACL. Actually, he had an ACL and then an Achilles.
Yeah, he was battling both of them. So, who do you think starts tomorrow? I heard you say there's a shot that maybe it's Hunter Tyson that gets the go tomorrow for Aaron, or do they just go with Peyton Watson?
Well, I think you got a choice. Peyton Watson had a nice game last game. Hunter Thompson. He's writing these great books, and he's also coming out and playing a little small forward. But Hunter Tyson, I don't know. I just think he fits better with the starters than Peyton does. But I don't know. It's probably going to be Peyton Watson. But I guarantee you they've had conversations. I'll bet they've had a conversation. Well, what if we did, Hunter Tyson. I mean, I don't know. Or you know what you do? Well, you know what you do is you start Julian Strother, put Michael. Michael's got to play 4, and you start Julian Strother, and you just got to play a 3-guard front.
Okay, if you do that, are you trying to outscore the other team and not worry about the defense in? Because you've lost your best defensive guy anyway. But...
Well, listen, you got pummeled in the first game of the year, and you only allowed 104.
All right.
And in my opinion, if you're going to hold a team at home to 104, you win those games.
Right.
Same thing in Denver in football. If you hold a team to 17 points at home, win the game.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. I said this to Nate today. Do you feel like, and I meant to ask you too, I feel like here's my good take on the Aaron Gordon injury, is you look for bright sides and everything, right? The bright side is I hope that all these guys are healthy by the time we get to spring, both teams. Now Malone, in my mind, Malone can start playing some of these young dudes, and he doesn't have to sit there and go, well, what if I had my veterans in? They're not available now. So
no, and listen, I said this before the season started. And I heard you give me some credit today. You take about 20 games to figure out who you are anyway. Unless you're like in Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City's just being Denver from a couple of years ago. They knew who they were. They knew what they had and said, okay, let's go. And they start off, 13-7 or 15-5, because they're ready to go. That's what Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City doesn't have to worry about who they are. They know their starters. They know their bench. Denver's got 4 starters. One's been hurt off and on all last year. Another one's hurt to start this year. So yes, you got to see. You put Peyton Watson. You put Julian Strother, Christian Brown. I'm no longer worried about. Hunter Tyson. You put those guys in. You say, can you go? Give me 10 minutes or 8 minutes of DJ and 8 minutes of Najee. So you can take Joker out a little bit. But you got to listen. He's got to play Hunter Tyson and Julian and hopefully he played well enough. Now the key for Peyton Watson, he hadn't played good all year and he played great last game. You can't go back to having an okay game. You got to find a lane where you can stay consistent and provide exactly what you are, who you are. Like Malone said about Christian Brown, I don't need him to be KCP. I need him to be the best Christian Brown he can be. That's all you need. He's a different cat.
I'm with you, but again, I hope this brings some freedom. I just hope this brings some freedom that Malone doesn't have to go, well, I would have won the game if I put my starters back in at the 9-minute mark. Well, now you can just play the young guys.
Yeah.
Is all. You know what I'm saying?
Play, like last night down late in the stretch, you've got Joker, Julian Strother, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, and Michael Porter. I mean, you got 3 of the young guys right there.
Well, and you know what? You got it done. You almost didn't get it done, but you ended up getting it done. And it's like Russ said after the game, Russell Westbrook, these young guys, it's like life. Got to get out there and experience it to kind of learn from it and take shots and get up and all that other stuff. Real quickly, God, I had something and I already forgot it.
Because you're watching the game.
Well, yeah. Oh my gosh, they ended up scoring. Is that even going to count? That was at the dead end of the game. I'd say don't count it. Man, don't make him face off, dude. Come on. Oh, well. All right. All right, man. I don't know. The Buffs are at 20 in that college football poll. I think because of the week off, Buffs are middle step. Beautiful pass backside. That's what we've been giving up. That's Kovalenko goals. So what are you going to do? Oh, it's going to count too. There's a second left. Buffs have a shot at the college football playoffs. That excite you at all?
Yeah,
I know Razorbacks had a tough one, but
here's a cool story. You got both CSU and CU bowl eligible, And when's the last time, right? That we're going to be able to maybe see both these two teams play in late December, January. That's gonna be, hey, that's pretty fun by itself, and both of them have a chance to win their conference. I mean, when's the last time have we ever seen CSU and CU both in their conference championship games?
Yeah, I was trying to remember that. It might have happened in between. I don't know. Did the Mountain West have a conference championship when Sonny was still there?
Sonny was there. I don't think they did.
Because both teams are really good. But I don't know if the Mountain West had a conference championship because that wasn't a thing
West
for a
back
while.
then always had BYU,
right?
That was always rolling all over people too, weren't they?
Well, Boise State was really good too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I don't know when they started a championship series. I don't think Sonny. I don't think they were having championship games when Sonny was there.
No, I don't think so. So this will probably be the first time that it happens if it does happen. So hopefully it does happen, Hopefully it happens and the Broncos win the games that they can win and we got some fun stuff down the stretch. So go see you. There it is. So I guess the Avs get the win, 6-3 to the final. Good for Kovalenko. Now I think they step up in competition a little bit, but off we go. I hope all these people are ready for what they're going to find at their cars. Are you
I haven't even looked outside yet.
No, it was slushy and heavy. You going to go full Christmas decorations now or what?
Well, if I were downstairs, and I'm not, I was putting Ellie to bed. Yeah, we've already got a Christmas tree with Oogie Boogie and Jack Skellington on either side of it.
Well, there you go. All right.
So we have a Christmas tree in the kitchen.
Why do you hate turkey is my question. Why do you hate pie? Why do you hate a good fortifying dinner?
What does that have to do with Christmas?
Turkey just is asking. Can I get a minute?
Am I not going to smoke a turkey again this year?
Are we finally going to do that? Let's finally do that.
I've done it for the last 3 years.
Well, we always talk about like getting together and doing one, and then we don't.
Well, I'll save you a piece.
Sure you will.
Have you ever smoked it?
No, I always want to, but I haven't yet.
It's easier than you think it is. The biggest key is make sure you put it in a brine overnight, let it sit in the brine all night, and then get in there and put some, loosen up that skin, put some nice butter all inside there. It's a little flavor.
See, you're getting ready just talking about it.
Oh, I have fun doing that. I really did. I was scared. I tell you what's so funny. First year I did it, 3 years ago, I said, I'm smoking turkey. And Julia, no, I'm going to smoke turkey. So I smoked a turkey. She cooked a turkey too. My turkey was gone by the end of the day, and she still had a whole lot of leftovers. But
you like it?
It's so much juicier. It's unbelievable.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm down in the brining process. Look, I'm down to do all that after cooking the brisket. I'm down to do it.
It's 10 times easier than doing a brisket.
Yeah, but see, now I'm wondering what's all this darn weather. We got all this weather throughout the week. I mean,
well, we got 23 days.
All right.
You got 23 days.
How do you know the weather's just not going to hang around? Maybe this is us now.
Has bad weather ever stayed in Denver for 23 days?
No, it hasn't. But, By the way, did you see the guy screaming over to the penalty box and then trips himself and crashes? Oh, I got to show you this real quick, too, before we go. Did you hear what the Pope did today?
No.
So the Pope was trying to send out, Pope Francis is trying to send out a Bible verse or whatever, a little bit of preaching, right? So there it is. I'm going to try to get it in there. So take a good look at that, Saints.
Pearls are always living relevant because they provide a fascinating commentary to the gospel. The lives are an illustration of the good news that Jesus brought to humanity. Goodness, our Father who loves everyone.
But look at the Saints. He hashtagged the Saints. He was talking about the Saints. So the Saints saw it because basically he hashtagged the football team. So the Saints quote tweeted it, and they were like, "Thank you, Father. We need the prayers."
Oh.
So I thought that was
you know
pretty
what?
funny.
You know what? Pope on it going, wait. How did you all copyright that? We've had the Saints here a little longer than the football franchise.
Yeah, hold on now. So anyway, all right. What are you thinking about tomorrow night? You got the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, is that a late one? Is that another 8 o'clocker?
No, it's 7. Thank goodness.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do a little post game after that. We'll see.
I was told yesterday that this season the Nuggets will have 23 games that start at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Here?
It can't be all here. It's got to be like Clippers, Lakers, Portland.
Right. The ones in LA I don't get so upset about, but the ones here, come on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just as bad for us. Like we go out in 2 weeks. We have a 1-day trip back to back. We play Denver here, and then we play the Lakers the next day. And, we'll get done with that game. And, that game will be 8 here. So, although I think we are spending the night and coming in on Sunday. So, I don't know. Well, just to tell everybody, by the way, the app works. The Altitude Plus app. Pretty happy.
Well, you got to get it on your smart TV. All right. By the way, the Avs broadcast been showing off their Altitude social set. Are you going to be on there anytime soon? Were you on there the last couple of days?
Well, they changed it from the pregame to the postgame. The postgame, they bring in couches.
Really?
Yeah, you stick around and watch it. The postgame will have couches.
All right. Good. Everybody can take a nap. All right, then, my friend. We will we'll maybe do this tomorrow.
All right, my friend.
Good evening.
Have a good one. Peace and love, and go Saints.
All right. Bye, all.